Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 655 based on novel. So let's start. Mu Bingmai left. She left the cave and left planet Suzaku, but she didn't leave alone. There was a man by her side. He had white clothes and white hair but an ordinary appearance. However, he gave off an unspeakable temperament that made everyone feel very comfortable. He pulled Mu Bingmei's hand like in a dream and didn't let go. He faintly heard Mu Bingmei's words in the sky. Are you an avatar or your original body? Wang Lin looked at Mu Bingmei and softly said, I'm Wang Lin and I'm by your side. Mu Bingmei looked at Wang Lin and gradually revealed a smile. This smile was very beautiful and very happy. They left planet Suzaku, and it was unknown where they went. After they turned into a ray of light, they disappeared into the distance. In a place far away, they could not see Wang Lin looking at them with a smile. Avatar or original body? Only Wang Lin knew this answer. Perhaps the person that had left was Wang Lin's avatar and the one watching them leave was his original body. Or perhaps, it was the opposite. There was no answer. 13 also left. He had spent his life chasing Wang Lin's footsteps. Now Wang Lin made him fly alone. When a bird grows, they must face the wind and rain alone. Only when he can see the rainbow in the wind and rain can he grow up to be a man that can support the world. They all left. Only Wang Lin stayed on planet Suzaku. Before going into the dream with Liu Mai, he had gone to see his parents, and now he went again before going to the original home he and Li Muwen had. The valley had been lost to time, but he restored it. In the valley, Wang Lin settled down and was accompanied by Li Muwen. He held Li Muwen, and together they counted reincarnations. It was as it had always been like this for a long time. In this loneliness, he immersed himself in this inner peace and experienced warmth. Time passed year by year. In spring, as everything recovered, Wang Lin planted a lot of flowers. He watched the flowers bloom, he watched the summer rainfall, he watched the autumn wind play songs of time, he watched the snow that drifted by in the winter. Wang Lin continued to be accompanied by Li Muwen, and there was a music echoing in his ears as if he had gone back thousands of years into the past. 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. Wang Lin lived in this calm valley for 70 years. He accompanied Li Muwen. Here, he had forgotten everything. He didn't consider his own cultivation level, didn't think about comprehending essences, and didn't consider all the conspiracies and lies. In his eyes, there was only Li Muwen. In his mind, only this figure existed. And in his ears, only the sound of the zither from back then remained. In the 200th year after Wang Lin returned to the cave world, a guest came to Wang Lin's valley. This guest was a bald man. He looked exactly the same as he did in the past and there was no change. He appeared from the world and stood outside the valley for a long time. He watched the sea of flowers in the valley, he looked at the cabin inside the sea of flowers, and he looked at the lonely figure sitting before the cabin. The man let out a sigh and revealed a melancholy expression. He held a wine jug in his hand. With a sigh, he went through the valley, through the sea of flowers, and arrived at Wang Lin's side. He looked at Wang Lin for a long time before he sat down opposite of him. Wang Lin opened his eyes and looked at the bald man before him. He gradually smiled. You came. The bald man silently nodded. I couldn't forget. A moment later, the bald man handed the jug of wine to Wang Lin and took out another one. He took a big gulp and the wine flowed down from the corner of his mouth and onto his clothes. I never wanted to forget, so there's no such thing as couldn't forget. Wang Lin took the jug of wine and took a sip. You are tormenting yourself. The bald man looked at Wang Lin with a complicated gaze. Tormenting, Wang Lin muttered. He drank the wine and didn't say more. The bald man shook his head and softly said, Forget it. You won't succeed. If this continues, you will be tired and Wan will be tired. Wang Lin looked at the sky. After pondering for a bit, he slowly said, Should I call you Moji or another name? The bald man was the person who had said to Wang Lin, "Heart's dead, already forgotten," in the rainy temple back then. "Moji, this has always been my name." The bald man sighed. "Wang Lin, you should have guessed all the answers. I can tell you." Moji was about to speak. "Don't say it, let me ponder some matters myself." Wang Lin shook his head. He took the wine jug and drank a big mouthful. "Drink wine with me. We haven't met in a long time." Wang Lin smiled and looked at Moji. The bald man silently pondered and drank wine with Wang Lin until dawn came, and the two didn't say a word. When the sun appeared at the edge of the sky again, Moji stood up. He looked at Wang Lin and let out a sigh. "I'm leaving. I hope you can succeed." He didn't advise Wang Lin anymore but turned to leave. When he was about to walk out of the valley, he stopped but didn't turn around. He had his back toward Wang Lin. "Teacher told me to ask you when you will return the Defying Earth Realm's boundary compass," Moji's voice echoed in the valley. After he spoke, he walked out of the valley and disappeared. Wang Lin still sat there and drank wine. He didn't say a word about Moji's words or departure. He had long understood some things, but he knew that he was himself and was named Wang Lin. He was born on planet Suzaku and was the son of a carpenter. He grew up in a small mountain village. Step by step, he tread the path of cultivation and reached his current state. Resurrecting Li Muwen was his own decision, but not something due to the influence or interference from another reincarnation. It was his own choice. There was no confusion in Wang Lin's eyes, they were completely clear. Whether it's Moji or Red Butterfly, even Moji's teacher and the All-Seer. They all think that this world, the cave world, the celestial realm were all formed by my dream Dao and are not real, Wang Lin murmured. He had long came to an understanding about these matters. However, is it really like this? Wang Lin smiled faintly. He stood up as he looked at the sky and his eyes shined brightly. "All-Seer, do you really think I don't know your origin?" Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he looked into the sky. He seemed to be able to see past the sky, past the celestial realm, past the endless darkness to see a figure in black with very long hair and an aura of slaughter and destruction coming from afar. The figure's destination was the immortal Astral Continent. "All-Seer, the answer to everything is not you telling me the truth in the immemorial God realm, but me telling you the truth. I'll let you know what the real truth is." Wang Lin waved his sleeve and a skull appeared. This skull belonged to the Ji Qiong. The skull flashed and a small line of words appeared on it, but it soon disappeared. "You're all wrong." Wang Lin withdrew his gaze and smiled as he returned to the wooden house. He looked at Li Muwen sleeping there and sat down next to her. His gaze was gentle as he watched her sleep. "Wan, you will wake up. Because I have already found the real way. And I already began the preparations in the ancient Sha ancestral temple." There was a trace of madness in Wang Lin's eyes. This method was indeed very crazy. Time gradually passed and the seasons changed. Wang Lin remained in the valley, accompanying Li Muwen all these years. This kind of quiet life was very rare for Wang Lin, aside from when he turned into a mortal or in his dream Dao. As he accompanied Li Muwen, he talked about his memories and was immersed in his own world. Over the years, 13 had returned several times. Each time, he would accompany Wang Lin for several months before he left to continue his own life and cultivation. Xu Ligua and Liu Jinbiao had used some unknown method to actually find Zhong Big Red. The three of them worked together, doing as they wished in the cave world, and were extremely happy. Their bodies had been reborn on the immortal Astral Continent, so they could leave and come as they wished by borrowing Wang Lin's power to pass through the gate. With Wang Lin's current cultivation level, Zhong Big Red could do this as well. After sweeping the cave world, the three of them, along with the sea dragon that had taken a liking to this as well, left the cave world. They began their own legendary experience on the immortal Astral Continent. However, before they left, Xu Ligua's group of three came to Wang Lin to serve and flatter him. Finally, Wang Lin laughed. He left his aura and imprint on them to keep them safe. The three of them left with excitement. With Wang Lin as the tiger skin and the combat power of the sea dragon, they were confident they could deceive anyone in the immortal Astral Continent. On the 60th year after Shuligua and company left, Wang Lin brought Li Muwen out of the valley and left planet Suzaku. They left the cave world and headed to the immortal Astral Continent. Before he left, his divine sense saw the celestial realm and he saw the cultivators there learning the Dao he had left. He saw 13 and a lot of old friends. He withdrew his divine sense and took a final glance at the cave world. There were 3 more months before the Immemorial God Realm would open. That place would be Wang Lin's final battle. When I leave the Immemorial God Realm, Wan, you will accompany me, Wang Lin murmured as he stepped through the gate of the cave world and disappeared. Wang Lin left. He disappeared from the cave world. In all heaven, on an ordinary planet, there was a woman. She wore purple and her hair reached her waist. Her hair was being blown by the wind and her dress gave off a sense of elegance. She looked at the sky. Under the sun, if you looked closely, you would see the beautiful brow on her face. She was filled with confusion. She felt a divine sense arrive and pause beside her for a moment before leaving. She originally thought it was all an illusion, but when the divine sense disappeared, a jade appeared before her. The jade quietly floated there and emitted a gentle light. She was Shizifeng. She stared at the jade before her. As the gentle light shined, it revealed a familiar aura. This aura was like a dream and was something she could never forget. Wang Lin, Shizifeng silently pondered for a long time before she reached for the jade. She held the jade in her hand and closed her eyes. Her divine sense entered the jade, and inside was Wang Lin's voice. After a long time, when Shizifeng finally opened her eyes, she revealed a gentle smile. The smile was very beautiful. Also in the cave world, in a desolate star system in the outer realm, there were large amounts of rocks floating there. They seemed to follow them strange law and slowly rotated in a huge arc. On the large rock in the center sat an old man. His face was ruddy and he was calmly cultivating. Every time he breathed, a ray of grey light would leave his body, enter the rock, and then it would spread out to be absorbed by the other rocks. There were no rocks here before he came, but when the old man arrived on a certain day, more and more of these rocks appeared, as if they were formed by his spell. This old man was the cracked stone statue in the depths of the wind celestial realm. If not for him, Wang Lin's battle against Daoist water would have been even more dangerous. At this moment, the old man's eyes were closed and he was quietly cultivating to force the power that had been turning his body into stone out of his body. All the rocks here were born because of this. I only need 300 more years to fully recover. Then I can leave here and return home. The old man opened his eyes. It was as if his gaze could penetrate the void to see the vast star system. He was not a cultivator of the cave world, he was from the immortal Astral Continent, from the 7 Dao sect. In fact, he was just a disciple of 7-colored celestial sovereign. As he muttered, he felt a bit unwilling to leave the cave world, as he had been here for a long time. After pondering for a moment, he let out a sigh and closed his eyes again. When he went back to cultivating, a powerful divine sense swept by. The power of this divine sense shocked this old man. He clearly knew that unless the owner wanted him to detect it, he would never be able to feel this divine sense arrive. To him, the power of this divine sense was comparable to heaven's might. The divine sense swept by and didn't stop, but after it disappeared, leaving the old man feeling uncertain about the situation, a pill appeared before him. The pill was completely red and gave off a shocking power of the world. Just from smelling the fragrance of the pill, the petrifying force inside his body was suppressed. Looking at the pill and recalling the divine sense, the old man gradually felt a trace of familiarity. After pondering for a moment, he muttered to himself. It's him. At this moment, as Wang Lin left the cave world, the eyes of the sleeping baby inside a planet in the outer star system trembled as if he was going to awaken. But after a long time, he still didn't open his eyes and gradually calmed down back to sleep. Endless spiritual energy gathered from inside and outside the planet toward the baby, acting as nutrients for him to grow. Before him was a jade formed by divine sense. This jade was not corporeal but seemed to alternate between illusionary and solid. It quietly floated there, waiting for the baby to wake up and see it. This cultivation planet the baby was in was extremely ordinary and didn't look strange at all. If there was anything strange, it was that it looked like an eyeball if one looked at it from afar. The mountain ranges on the planet looked like the blood veins, the vast seas were like the white around the pupil, and the continent looked like the pupil. Wang Lin had been here before. He not only saw the baby Tuo Sen, but also the planet Tuo Sen had found to sleep in. After Wang Lin left, the cave world became calm. It was like someone growing stronger. A force almost no one could detect filled the cave world after Wang Lin left. This force could protect this place for generations, so incidents like Master Scarlet Soul would never happen again. On the immortal Astral Continent, in the Heavenly Bull Continent, there was a mountain surrounded by fog. On this day, a powerful force rushed out and endless crystal light spread in all directions. After the light scattered, Wang Lin slowly walked out of the gate to the cave world with his white hair and white robe. The last 300 years had passed in the blink of an eye. Wang Lin looked at the world of the immortal Astral Continent and silently walked forward. 7 Dao Sect, Wang Lin muttered to himself. Before he left, he waved his sleeve and a gust of wind swept across the 7 Dao Sect. The ruin dissipated and was replaced by a powerful sect. This place will become the home for everyone who comes out of the cave world, Wang Lin murmured as he reached toward the sky. In an instant, nearly 20 clumps of light appeared and scattered in all directions. These nearly 20 clumps of light appeared in many different places across the immortal Astral Continent. Qing Shui was walking through the desert when he seemed to notice something and looked up. A clump of light flew into his body. His body trembled and, a moment later, he opened his eyes with a smile. Master Hongshan was flying through the sky, and before him was a ray of sword light with an old man inside. The old man's expression was ferocious, but there was a fear underneath as he escaped at full speed. Master Hongshan was pursuing with a gloomy expression. At this moment, the clump of light entered his body and made him look toward the direction of the Heavenly Bull Continent. His gloomy expression softened, but he chased even faster. Qing Lin, Zhu Yu, Red Butterfly, Zhu Yi, and almost everyone from the cave world got the clump of light and felt the existence of the 7 Dao Sect. Even if they were still mortals, the memories of the 7 Dao Sect would slowly awaken in the future. Wang Lin took one last look at the 7 Dao Sect before he set a powerful formation around it. This formation was comparable to the one he had set in the cave world. Even if he didn't make it out of the Immemorial God Realm, he could still ensure the safety of the cave world and protect the existence of the 7 Dao Sect. After doing all of this, Wang Lin didn't look back and walked toward the sky until he became transparent and disappeared. 300 years of time is multiple lifetimes for mortals, but for cultivators, it's not long. The madman became the Celestial Emperor and Guu Dao became the Ancient Sha Emperor. I wonder how they are doing, Wang Lin muttered to himself. And Li Qianmai, where exactly are you? Wang Lin sighed. He could guess that Li Qianmai had awakened her memories herself like Qing Shui. He could also guess the reason she wouldn't see him. Silently blessing me, Wang Lin looked up into the distant sky. He always remembered Li Qianmai's words and the story of the bird and the fish. After a long time, Wang Lin closed his eyes and walked toward the direction of the ancient clan. I once promised Guu Dao that I'd enter the Immemorial God Realm from the ancient clan side. Wang Lin remembered the promise from back then. He traveled through the Celestial Clan for a few days and arrived at the edge of the basin that was the vast sea. Then he walked toward the center, where the sea storm was located. Before he got close, he could hear the thunderous rumbles that churned the sky and made the sky dark. It had been 300 years since the sea storm had formed, and now it seemed even more violent than before. As the thunderous rumbles echoed across the world, the sea storm rotated rapidly and set off large amounts of ripples. They looked like waves that were floating in the air that continued to hit each other and seemed to be rushing into the sky. Inside the sea storm were 9 huge pillars that gave off 9 different colors of light. The light filled the entire sea storm and was reflected by the sea storm, making it look like a 9-colored dream. This dream carried a sense of mystery that would force one to immerse themselves into it and prevent them from extracting themselves. Due to the various rumors about the Immemorial God Realm on the immortal Astral Continent, there were many people here. They were filled with desire, the desire to become stronger. Wang Lin stood on the side of the sea storm and he didn't hesitate to walk through it. He appeared on the ancient clan side and calmly sat down to wait for the immemorial god realm to open in a few months. As the time slowly approached, the celestial clan and ancient clan awakened like two ferocious beasts that had been sleeping and erupted with their peak power after preparing for hundreds of years. In the celestial clan, the armies formed by the many sects utilized the rarely used transfer arrays to arrive at the vast basin. In the direction of the ancient clan, the countless soldiers led by the three ancient emperors also arrived through transfer arrays. No one knew if this war was going to begin or not. It depended on which side would have a new Grand Empyrean, or even which Grand Empyrean could climb to a greater height. These were the key conditions for a war to begin. If a balance could be kept, it would be fine. But if the balance was broken, this war would be inevitable since the Celestial Clan had already guessed that Grand Empyrean Guu Dao couldn't leave the Ancient Clan. Unless the Ancient Clan retreated and did not dare to fight outside of Guu Dao's range. No one knew when the Immemorial God Realm came into existence. It seems to be even older than the immortal Astral Continent. Even the Celestial Ancestor and Ancient Ancestor, who were born from the Void, didn't know too much about the Immemorial God Realm. Wang Lin sat on the side of the sea storm and looked at the gate formed by the huge pillars. The gate was shut tightly and was about to open soon. Wang Lin was in no rush. He had waited for thousands of years and wasn't worried about several months. However, there was a question in his heart. I wonder what the Immemorial God Realm would be like. I hadn't initiated that crazy plan in the ancient Sha ancestral temple. Wang Lin silently pondered about this for a long time, but it was a question without an answer. Wang Lin waited for the Immemorial God Realm to open. It was now 1 month before the opening, and 3 rays of light came from the ancient clan. It was the 3 Grand Empyreans from the ancient clan. Song Jian, Xian Luo, and the mysterious ancient Ji Grand Empyrean. The T3 rays of light instant closed in and turned into 3 figures before Wang Lin. Song Jian looked at Wang Lin with a complicated expression. He clasped his hands at Wang Lin and was extremely respectful. Song Jian greets Lord Wang. The ancient Ji Grand Empyrean also silently pondered and respectfully clasped his hands at Wang Lin. They had already learned 300 years ago the strongest person on the immortal Astral Continent was no longer Grand Empyrean Guu Dao, but the person called Wang Lin that was before them. After witnessing that battle 300 years ago, they had personally asked Grand Empyrean Guu Dao. They got the same answer as what they had seen. Xian Luo was a lot older than before, but he had a smile on his face. He looked at his former disciple and felt happy that Wang Lin could become this strong. He was about to clasp his hands along with Song Jian. After all, on the immortal Astral Continent, the strong were respected. However, just as they arrived, Wang Lin got up. If only Song Jian and ancient Ji Grand Empyrean had come, he wouldn't be doing this. However, with Xian Luo here, Wang Lin didn't hesitate to bow to Xian Luo first. Wang Lin greets teacher. When Song Jian and the ancient Ji Grand Empyrean saw this, they were shocked. They had seen too many teacher-disciple pairs where the disciple betrayed the teacher. There were also many occasions where the disciple became stronger and no longer respected their teacher. Even if some did, it was only on the surface. However, Wang Lin's sincerity could be clearly felt by the two of them. As the strongest person on the immortal Astral Continent, it was normal for Xian Luo to bow to Wang Lin. They had also severed their teacher-disciple relationship back at the ancient Dao Palace. Wang Lin looked at Xian Luo, at his teacher, who looked older. How could he make his teacher bow to him? Even if he was the strongest person on the immortal Astral Continent and might become even stronger in the future, he could not be ungrateful and make Xian Luo bow to him. Xian Luo opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but he smiled and nodded at Wang Lin in the end. It was due to Wang Lin's respect to Xian Luo in the next few days that Song Jian and the ancient Ji Grand Empyrean treated Xian Luo somewhat differently. They should have been equals, but they now treated Xian Luo with a hint of respect. To make Wang Lin, who was the strongest person on the immortal Astral Continent and had defeated Guu Dao, call him teacher was enough to change everything. On the 15th day before the Immemorial God Realm's opening, there was a shocking change to the sea storm. The sea storm expanded several times and the thunderous rumble became deafening. The sound was loud enough to kill mortals, and even some of the weaker cultivators could not bear it. Those who were mildly affected would end up with injuries to the heart and body, while the serious cases would have their bodies explode. Every time the Immemorial God Realm opened, no weak cultivators would come to venture inside. This was mostly due to these thunderous rumbles. Under these thunderous rumbles, weaker cultivators could not get close at all, and as time passed, they would only become even more intense. In the end, the heaven-shattering rumbles would kill anyone below the third step. Even protection treasures would have no effect here. On the last day, the thunderous rumbles could sweep anyone under the void turbulent stage, and thus, the people who could come here were few. As the thunderous rumbles echoed, the nine-colored light pierced through the sea storm, went into the sky, and shrouded the earth. The nine-colored light turned into a blade-like aura and swept the area. Wang Lin's expression was calm. He clearly saw the gate formed by the 9 pillars loosen. The thunderous rumbles were precisely due to the gate loosening. It was as if a power was smashing the gate, wanting to rush out. Xian Luo looked at the sea storm and slowly said to Wang Lin, "Something is wrong. The last time the Immemorial God Realm opened, it only got this strong 1 week before it opened, but now it's early by a week." Xian Luo frowned. As a result, the Immemorial God Realm's roars will last even longer than before and will become even more intense. Even clan members who have 27 stars and have fully integrated the 3 powers will not be able to come. Xian Luo revealed a worried expression. Wang Lin looked at the sea storm. He had lived in the ancient clan for a long time and knew that a full 27-star clan member that had fully integrated the 3 powers was comparable to a golden exalt. In the past, when the Immemorial God Realm opened, both sides would send a large amount of void turbulent cultivators in to test their luck. However, those people were not important. The important people were the golden exalts, Empyrean exalts, and the most important ones were the Ascendant Empireans. However, the thunderous rumbles had come 1 week early. Did this mean that an accident would occur 1 week from now? Xian Luo was somewhat hesitant. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from the sea storm. He looked back and could feel hundreds of ancient clan members rushing over. Based on their speed, they should all arrive in 3 days. Time passed day by day. On the second day, the rumbles intensified. On the third day, they become even stronger. The rumbles caused the world to become unstable. Song Qian and ancient Ji Grand Empyrean became gloomy and anxious. At noon of the third day, only 12 days before the opening of the Immemorial God Realm, Wang Lin's calm voice clearly entered the ears of Song Qian and company even in this thunderous rumble. The Celestial Clan's Grand Empireans have arrived. Shortly after, on the other side of the sea storm, 3 rays of light arrived. Only Zhu Di, Wu Feng, and Dao Yi had come. As for Gemini, she hadn't come. She had chosen to remain in the Celestial Clan. The temptation of the Immemorial God Realm didn't affect Gemini too much. She thought for a long time and ended up choosing to act as backup. As for Lian Daofei, who had become the Celestial Emperor, he had also chosen not to come. After Ji Du and company came, they immediately noticed that the roars today were different from the past. They thought for a while and their expressions became gloomy. Like Xian Luo and company, they also felt like something was wrong. The 3 of them looked at each other and then their faces followed the sea storm to see Xian Luo and company, along with the calm Wang Lin. Dao Yi greets Lord Wang. Dao Yi didn't hesitate to respectfully clasp his hands. "Greetings, Lord Wang." Wu Feng's expression was calm. It seemed like 300 years of time had made him accept reality. Ji Du hesitated a bit before he let out a sigh and also clasped his hands at Wang Lin, but he didn't say anything. Wang Lin nodded and smiled at Wu Feng. "Long time no see. It has been hundreds of years. I didn't expect Lord Wang Lin's cultivation level to reach such a degree." When Wu Feng saw Wang Lin acting like this, his heart warmed slightly. As the 2 of them talked, hundreds of rays of light appeared in the sky behind Xian Luo. The rays of light moved very fast. They were people chosen to enter the Immemorial God Realm. At the same time, a giant transfer array appeared behind Zhu Di and hundreds of figures walked out. Wang Lin had seen most of them at the Empyrean trial. Almost as soon as they appeared, it was as if their auras made this place unstable. The rumbles from the sea storm became even more intense, as if the world was trembling and ready to collapse. Even spatial rifts began to appear and disappear in this area. This scene caused the expressions of the 6 Grand Empireans to change. The sea storm continued to rumble, intensifying several folds. It caused a large amount of spatial rifts to appear in the surrounding area. It was like a ghostly cry, howling while carrying a sharp and shocking force that could destroy one's body. It spread out in all directions from the center of the sea storm. The hundreds of people from the ancient clan had just arrived and looked at the sea storm before them. They could clearly feel the destructive aura from it that could easily destroy them. This force was enough to make all living things tremble in fear. However, this didn't include Wang Lin and the 6 Grand Empireans. At their cultivation levels, they all had varying degrees of resistance to this rumbling. It was no problem for them. Wang Lin ignored the rumbles. When this sound entered his ears, it didn't cause his heart to tremble at all. It was as if this sound wasn't qualified to make his heart tremble, even if it were countless times stronger. After cultivating to his cultivation level, forget the immortal Astral Continent, even in the vast space outside the immortal Astral Continent, very few things could shock him. However, the 6 Grand Empireans were not the same. Although they weren't affected by these rumbles as much, they knew that many of the people behind them could not bear it. Song Qian didn't hesitate. The moment the rumbles intensified, he moved before the ancient clan members. He waved his sleeve and a giant sun appeared behind him. He was using his Grand Empyrean power to help the people behind him resist the rumbles. Xian Luo and the ancient Ji Grand Empyrean did the same. With the 3 of them working together, they were able to ensure the hundreds of panicking ancient clan members weren't injured or forced back. The Celestial clan was the same. Guu Dao and company acted at the same time to protect the hundreds of celestial cultivators from the rumble. Only Wang Lin quietly sat there and calmly looked at the sea storm. He didn't act to help anyone, there was no point. Wang Lin had already knew what would happen 12 days from now. He looked at the people of the 2 sides and closed his eyes. There are 12 days until the gate opens, but the rumbles are as intense as 2 days before the Immemorial God Realm opened in the past. If this continues, I fear they will be unable to stay. The Immemorial God Realm is strange, it is very different from the past. The 6 Grand Empireans on both sides of the sea storm looked at each other, and their expressions became gloomy. As the 6 of them continued to resist, time passed once more. Every day, the rumbling of the storm would become more violent. When it was only 9 days before the Immemorial God Realm's opening, the rumble spread across the entire vast basin. Even the edges of the basin connected to the ancient clan and the celestial clan could hear the rumbles. At dusk 9 days before the opening, the rumbles reached an indescribable degree. Even the 6 Grand Empireans at full power felt like they could not resist anymore. The rumbles were enough to make the sky shatter and cracks appear on the earth. The hundreds of people protected by the 6 Grand Empireans bled from their orifices. There are still 9 more days. It is impossible to resist any longer. Right now, it is as intense as the last day before the Immemorial God Realm opened in the past. If this continues, people will die tomorrow and we will be injured before even going in. I fear we can't allow this many people to enter the Immemorial God Realm this time, Wu Feng quickly said, and Dao Yi silently nodded. Guu Dao clenched his teeth and sent out a divine message. All cultivators below Golden Exalt, quickly retreat and quickly transfer out of the vast basin. As his words echoed, on the ancient clan's side, Song Qian and company also made a decision. Out of the hundreds of people they were guarding, those that hadn't successfully passed the 3 trials and 7 calamities all quickly left the center of this rumbling. A moment later, less than 100 people remained on each side of the storm, and because there were fewer people, the pressure on the 6 Grand Empireans reduced greatly. This was all seen by Wang Lin. He still silently pondered and didn't do anything. He looked at the sea storm and saw the gap in the gate formed by the 9 pillars became a bit bigger. In a flash, 3 days passed. There were only 6 more days until the Immemorial God Realm opened. The rumbling from the gate became even more intense than 3 days ago. This had never happened before during the Immemorial God Realm's opening. This caused the 6 Grand Empireans to become very anxious. They could not endure it anymore. They had to reduce the people, or else they would be affected as well. Wang Lin. Xian Luo looked toward Wang Lin. This was the first time he had spoken to Wang Lin since the rumbles from the sea storm began. In truth, Song Qian and the ancient Ji Grand Empyrean had long pinned their hopes on Wang Lin. They were just confused about why Guu Dao still hadn't come. However, now was not the time to think about this matter. After they heard Xian Luo speak, they immediately looked at Wang Lin. Teacher, Wang Lin stood up and looked at Xian Luo, who was using his full strength to resist the rumbling. Teacher, it's useless. In the end, they will not be able to enter. Even you all won't be able to enter, Wang Lin softly said, but he still raised his right hand and waved at the less than 100 people being guarded by Xian Luo and company. With this wave, Xian Luo and company suddenly felt the pressure disappear, as if the rumbling was gone. The nearly 100 people all recovered from the pain they were suffering. Guu Dao should have already noticed this, so he didn't appear to forcibly intervene. Xian Luo and company remained silent. They also felt the strangeness of this opening of the Immemorial God Realm. There were still 6 days remaining, and they found it difficult to imagine how intense the rumbling would become then. It was likely that even they would have to retreat. The ancient clan had Wang Lin's protection, but on the Celestial clan's side, under Guu Dao and company's protection, they had to reduce the amount of people. Golden Exalt Cultivators. Empyrean Exalt Cultivators, back down and quickly transfer away. As Guu Dao's voice echoed, a majority of the almost 100 cultivators silently pondered. They looked at the sea storm with regret as they left one by one, leaving only 11 people. Not all Ascendant Empireans had come. These 11 people were the Ascendant Empireans that had chosen to come. Only 6 days left. During these 6 days of time, it was painful to endure for everyone beside Wang Lin. Although the ancient clan had many people, Wang Lin's words made them hesitant. When 3 more days passed and only 3 days remained, the rumbling was several times stronger than when the Immemorial God Realm opened in the past. On the Celestial clan's side, the 11 Ascendant Empireans unwillingly left and chose to transfer out of the vast basin. Guu Dao and company sat together. Without the need to shelter the Ascendant Empireans, they could use their full strength to resist the rumbles of the sea storm, so now they could last longer. Looking at what had happened on the Celestial clan's side, Xian Luo and company felt bitter in their hearts. They had a hunch that what Wang Lin had said was true. If not for Wang Lin helping earlier, they would be the same as the other side, with only 3 of them remaining. The last 3 days were the most difficult 3 days. One day unknowingly passed, and just as the day passed, the sea storm became 100 times more intense. This caused the world to collapse into countless fragments, and the world became a void. Guu Dao and company turned pale and they didn't hesitate to link their divine senses to resist it with their combined power. The ancient clan was still as calm as before. Xian Luo and the others felt like nothing had happened. However, looking at the other side made them gain a new understanding of how powerful Wang Lin was. When there were only 2 days left until the Immemorial God Realm's opening, Guu Dao arrived. His arrival was silent, as if he had always here. He walked out of the void and sat down next to Wang Lin. He looked at the sea storm and let out a sigh. Xian Luo, the 3 of you stay and the rest of you leave. After he spoke, he waved his right hand at the nearly 100 ancient clan members, and they slowly disappeared. Wang Lin looked at Guu Dao and didn't speak. He continued to look at the sea storm. The gap in the stone gate was even bigger now, and there was a hint of anticipation in his eyes. At this moment, there were only 8 people remaining outside the sea storm. They were surrounded by the void as the world had collapsed around them. When the day passed and it was the last day before the gate's opening, the rumbles formed a vortex. As the vortex rotated rapidly, it caused Guu Dao and company to cough out blood. They retreated unwillingly and knew in their hearts that they had reached their limit. Dao Yi was the first to clench his teeth and leave, followed by a helpless Wu Feng. Only Guu Dao revealed a distorted expression as the veins on his face swelled. He wanted to continue to resist. However, he only lasted 2 more hours before he disappeared with a bitter expression. This video will end here.